Hey, what's up YouTube? Just wanted to give you a little update on my new, well, not new tank, but I turned my 175 gallon into an Mbuna tank. Let me give you a little shot of that. That rock is Texas Holy Rock. Some of them can get really heavy. So you got the ACI. I call them, that's a bumblebee cichlid. I call them Bumblewaya tuna. That's Ace, Bumblewaya tuna, Lemmy, Rusty. I just recently added 5 more into this tank yesterday. This piece of Holy Rock right here is really heavy. Not really heavy, but heavy enough. Instead of doing the whole light diffusing underneath the substrate to disperse the weight so it's easier on the glass, what I did is I put a nice hardy piece of driftwood underneath, and that kind of distributes the weight out. That way you don't have any one single pressure points on the glass underneath. But I really love to look at this tank. All my Mbunas seem pretty happy. Didn't have a lot of aggression issues. They're still chasing each other, but that's what they do. Still a piece of seaweed stuck on that power head up there. They love that. Get the Omega-1 seaweed. I'll do a video of feeding them. I stuck it in the tank this morning and held it. And these fish are strong. They about pulled my hand down into the tank when they were yanking on it. They're getting bigger. Looking great. Love the cichlids and Mbunas. They can be pretty aggressive, so with cichlids it's always good to monitor them as they get older and they hit their maturity level. They're going to have, attitudes are going to change a little bit. That's why it's always good to have a backup tank. It's a 55 gallon under there. The lights are out right now, in essence, running the lights when it's not being used, but in case I have an issue of a Mbuna that's a particularly aggressive, I can take him out and put him in like a timeout tank, so to speak, for a couple weeks. Underneath there, you might see my red blood parrots. These guys are, because red blood parrots are, my one in there is pretty aggressive. He'll attack my gravelback and my hand. I mean, they can't hurt you, but yep, they definitely got attitude. But yeah, I wanted to give you guys a shot of my 75 gallon Mbuna tank. I put some Amazon swords in there along with some Anubias. A lot of people say you can't keep plants with cichlids, but so far so good. They say it for a reason, so I'm sure I don't have an issue, but I like greenery in my tanks. I love how the algae is growing on top of Texas Holy Rock. Looks kind of yellowish and greenish. They have all kinds of little homes that they can make for their own and claim their own part of the tank. You'd be amazed the little spots they get into. You got to make sure you secure your rocks, especially heavier ones like this, because once they get in there and they start digging the sand away, you could have a collapse. But this Texas Holy Rock's great. You take some time putting it together in the tank, and it like clicks together and pieces together like a puzzle when it gets pretty sturdy in there. I'll be keeping an eye on that. It makes me a little nervous, but it's pretty sturdy on top of that piece of driftwood. And then Peter shook it. It's not going anywhere. But I love this big hole in there. It's really cool. They love it. Love going in there. These guys are doing really good. Love the color. I had a zebra in here, but I got to get another one. He died, and I had an Neurotis. He died. I want to get a couple more different ones in here. Right now there's about 11 of them in there. I can get, 2 or 3 more and it'll be okay. I test my water every week. I was having issues with nitrates, but as you can see, I've added the potho plants in all these tanks. Peace lilies. This is my 125 community tank. See my big pleco. He's got a lot more room now. Got some neon tetras, black skirt tetras. There's a couple of angelfish in here. Let's see, my Pictus catfish like hanging out in there. Sorry about the pixely video. He's on the move. Love that big pleco. Over here is my 125-gallon Oscar tank. Red Tiger Oscar on the right. He's the bully. The albino on the left. Gets picked on, as you can see. I've considered moving him into a 75 by himself, but he don't get peace, but he doesn't really hurt him. I think it's more of a, hey, I'm the boss, get out of the way. The white one still follows him around all the time. It's not like they fight to the death. If you guys have any suggestions for a different, like I got that log there and log there. They love to go in there and sleep and hang out, but I really don't like the look of the fake decorations. If you have any suggestions for large little caves I can make for them, I know about the whole PVC thing. I made one here for the pleco. He goes in every once in a while, but Pictus catfish have taken that over. They really like that. So there's a peace lily there. Pothos and peace lilies are doing really good in this tank. All of these tanks are looking great. They're sucking nitrates down. Since I've been doing the weekly water changes and put the pothos in there, I've really got all my nitrates under control. I don't have to do water changes, but every couple weeks now instead of every week. This is going to be my goldfish tank. I'm gonna unplug that heater and get it colder. Goldfish are cold water fish. I've got one Cory cat in here. I'm gonna move to a warmer tank, and then I can unplug that heater and it'll be cold water for these guys. Not that they can't get used to a range, because they can, different temperature ranges. But if you want your fish to thrive, it's best to give them the environments that they require. Hawk there, we had an issue with him. I saved him. He was on his last leg. I thought he was going to die. Put him into quarantine. When I was able to bring him back, he had fin rot, eye cloud, all kind of issues. He's going to be blind in his left eye still from what happened. It did not affect the other goldfish or their tanks, but I treated it anyways. We did get him back, and he's swimming around, and his fins are growing back. Oh, hey, Maximus. That's Silver Fox. That's Hawk. This will be our goldfish tank. It's another 75 gallon. I got some other videos I'm going to be making. I haven't put any videos out for a while. I had a lot going on. I got some cool things to tell you about. A story that came along with this tank right here. I got a really good price on this tank, the stand, another stand, and all kinds of like ridiculous amounts of supplies and equipment. I'm going to talk about this lighting in another video as well. This lighting is cheap, works great. I painted them black, get them from Lowe's, put them on a timer. The glass tops on this, I'll be making a video on that as well. I had these lights on this tank as well because I do like having the tank's lids with nothing on them. It just makes it easier for when you're working on them and maintenance in them. These lights came with this tank, but I took the spotlights off yesterday and put these back on just because the lighting, I like it a lot better, the way it looks. And these spotlights cause a lot of algae. They're not doing it in this tank. One, because I got a pleco in there to help, although, as plecos get older, they don't do as much work. But with the floating water spray, it's a darker tank, the darker stand. Even next to this window, I don't get a lot of light in these windows causing algae, except for a little bit in this tank. But I don't get a lot of sunlight blazing into these tanks, even though they're close to it. But even though I got those lights on here, it's not causing near as much algae in this tank as it is my Oscar tank. Everything's looking good. I'm pretty much getting my fish room the way I want it. Of course, and you know, anybody that keeps fish knows in this hobby that eventually, you know, you're always changing something, trying different things, doing different things. I'm finally getting down in my bedroom. I have a 29-gallon Tiger Barb tank and a 20-gallon one with a beta in it and some cherry shrimp. And I'll make a video on those cherry shrimp. They're reproducing. I'm getting a lot more cherry shrimp. Beta seems to get along with them. At first, he was chasing them around. I would love to get me another 125 or even a 300-gallon and put it on this wall. But I'm having a hard time getting the wife to let me do that. She's got her plants. She likes plants. We're combining our little hobbies together. Plants in the tanks, making a kind of a nice little zen zone, if you will. It's thunderstorming this morning. I love a thunderstorm I love thunderstorms on a weekend morning. I fell asleep right there with my coffee in my hand. What woke me up was my hand jerked and spilled my coffee on the table. It happens. It's relaxing in here, and that's one of the points of keeping the fish. I enjoy the hobby. It is relaxing. You're sitting here. I opened up the windows so I could hear the thunderstorm. And it put me right to sleep. These guys already had breakfast. And of course they want more. I'm gonna push that piece of seaweed off there so they can munch on that some more. Yeah, I got a lot of ideas for some more videos. We'll put more videos out more often. Got things set up the way I wanted it. I got a video I'm gonna make on this stand here for the 25. I made this stand myself, but one of the things I got when I got that tank that I was telling you a little bit ago is another stand for a 125-gallon tank. Well, that older stand wasn't built real strong. It was made out of that crappy compressed wood. So I kept the stand I made, but what I took from it was the trim and the cabinet, and then I got some like 1/8-inch plywood and just turned this into a nicer looking stand and closed it off, and it looks real nice. Looks a lot better than it did. I would do the same thing for these ones, but I've got two 55-gallons. So I got a 75-gallon on top and a 55-gallon underneath. That wasn't the original plan, but my wife was getting mad that I had too many tanks in here, so I made it work. Had to do some cutting. I'll make a video on that too. Really cool story behind that, how to make that work. That one down there. This 75 gallon's cool. I got it for free, but unfortunately the glass on this one is white and hazy. The people, I don't know what they used it for. I think they had it as a reptile tank, but I cleaned it and disinfected, and there's no problems with that. But the glass is kind of white and hazy and not clear, and I couldn't get it off, and I tried all the tricks. But for free, there you can see on the inside, you can kind of see how hazy it is with the white and hard calcium buildup. Is just assuming it's etched into the glass. There's no getting it off at this point, but this tank was free. 75-gallon tank. We'll deal with it. I got these free with this tank. Penguins, Greenland penguins. Well, that's it for this video. I've got a lot more stuff that I'm going to come out with and post on there about different projects and things. Little tips, tricks, and hints. A lot of YouTubers and keep fish out there are a lot better than me, but I've been doing it long enough. I can share some information, and I'll see you next time. Have a good Sunday. Bye.